Hello and welcome to Any Given Sunday Headlines edition for week 12. It was week 11 was a very interesting week of football. We finished with the same record on the week for the first time in a while. It's been a minute since we've done that. We don't have any division clinching scenarios this week, but we do have a situation where the New York Giants can be eliminated from the playoffs if they lose and Dallas wins, Seattle wins, or Minnesota wins. Seattle plays the Titans this week, and the Giants play the Lions. We'll see in 2026, boys. That is none of our headlines. That is just something I had the screenshot, and I decided I may as well throw that in.
I feel like everyone expected it to be the other New York team getting
Yeah.
cut first. But the New York Giants, to no knock on the New York Giants, I think the New York Giants have a better look right now and a better look for the future than the Jets. But they're just in a tougher division and a tougher conference, I think, this season.
Yeah, I think it's hard to dispute that the NFC has been the better conference this season. It's toughest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
Toughest schedule in the league for a team that theoretically should be on the rise next year. Hire yourselves a good head coach. Don't fuck up the draft. Don't fuck up free agency. I am genuinely looking for – this is weird because I'm an Eagles fan, but I am genuinely looking forward to the Giants being good again. They've been a laughingstock for as long as I've been watching football, since 2016 when Carson Wentz got drafted. The league is a better place when the NFC East is competitive because people fucking hate the Eagles. So either the Eagles need to be bad or there needs to be a team good enough to beat the Eagles consistently and not just on a fluke. And I think the Giants could be that team.
I think maybe they're going to have another great offseason to get to that point. But, yeah, we'll probably see you in 2026, New York Giants. But on to our actual headlines.
Yes.
I guess we'll start with the one we got in the NFC. With right now the Eagles currently are tied for the 1 seed in the NFC, but they do have tiebreakers over pretty much every other contender in the conference, including my Los Angeles Rams. And that with 7 games left in the season.
Yeah, that sounds right. The Eagles have 7 games left to play. Here are the teams just in the NFC playoff picture that they hold tiebreaker over. The Dallas Cowboys, for now. We'll see how this week goes. But they currently hold tiebreaker over Dallas. They hold head-to-head over the Rams and Tampa Bay and Minnesota and Green Bay and Detroit. And they have a common opponent tiebreaker over Seattle. Even if Seattle pulls even with the Rams, who are one of the teams that Eagles have common opponented with the Seahawks, even if the Seahawks end up beating the Rams, they still lost to Tampa Bay, who Philadelphia beat. The only team firmly set in the NFC playoff picture that Philadelphia doesn't have tiebreaker over is Chicago. And even then, I think we might have common opponent over them because we beat Detroit and they didn't, at least for now. But 2 weeks from now, we play Chicago. We have a chance to seal head-to-head over Dallas this week. We have a chance to gain over Chicago next week. It's the Eagles' conference to lose. They have the inside track at the 1 seed, and unless something goes royally, severely wrong in a much easier back 7 than front 10 for the Eagles, we've got a first-round bye. And oh boy, do we need it because we are not healthy and we are not performing right now.
The only contender I think that can take that first seed from the Eagles probably is the Rams, and the Rams need to play absolutely out of their minds in their last 7 games because their remaining schedule is tough, but I think they can. But we'll see what happens with the rest of the season. And on to our next headline, which we're going to hop over to the AFC West, where after another win against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Denver Broncos widen their lead in the NFC West. And I mean, it, like, when you think about it, we talked about this earlier in the week, is that right now the Kansas City Chiefs, they don't have a shot at the division. The Chargers do,
Yeah.
mathematically, but are they going to? Probably not. But right now the Broncos are sitting atop the AFC West with a 9-2 record, and it is going to be really difficult for another team to take that title from them. They are playing well. They are getting wins, which is, when you're talking about football, that's what matters. And it really is. The AFC West really is the Broncos' division to lose. And this is going to be the first time since 2015.
Did they win it Peyton's final year?
Yeah, they did win it the Peyton's final year, but I'm thinking of when the last time the Chiefs didn't win the AFC West. Because
it's been.
I feel like it's got to be one of the Rivers teams.
I don't think so. I think
It might have been Peyton Manning's
took it
Broncos.
in 2015.
It might have been
the Chiefs
Peyton
have held
Manning's
it
Broncos.
ever since.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't think Andy Reid's lost the AFC West yet in his career with the Chiefs.
He got hired there in 2013, I believe.
I thought it was 2015 for some reason. But anyway,
but it hasn't lost it a lot.
It's been a decade almost since the Chiefs haven't won the AFC West, and I think that this is going to be the first time since that doesn't happen, and that means the Chiefs have to go on the road at least once if they make the playoffs.
Well, and the question, now that the Broncos have taken the division effectively, the question, now that the Broncos have effectively taken the division, are the Chiefs going to make the playoffs? Because they have 7 games left. There are probably 2 to 4 gimmies in there that they really should win, but that puts them at 9 wins. And they're not in the current AFC playoff picture. We looked at Jacksonville's schedule, too. When you look at Jacksonville's schedule, they've got 4 or 5 games that they really should win, which puts them at 10 wins. Jacksonville has head-to-head tiebreaker over Kansas City. Denver has head-to-head tiebreaker over Kansas City. The Chargers, the Bills have head-to-head tiebreaker over Kansas City. Those are teams that are going to come – those are losses that are going to come back to bite the Chiefs. And, yes, they beat the Ravens. They have head-to-head over the Ravens. But the Ravens might still win their division, and it might not matter. Kansas City, if they make the playoffs, it won't be any better than the 6th seed, in my opinion. And that's if they get really lucky and the Bills and 2 of the Bills, Chargers, and Jaguars have awful endings to the year, and their schedules are not that tough to close it, except for the Bills. But they play Philadelphia in Week 17. That's going to be a fun game, I hope. Denver might have just done something unprecedented in the Mahomes-Reid era and not just held the Chiefs out of the AFC Championship game, where they have failed to not get since Mahomes has been the starter. They might have held them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's obviously not just been the Broncos, but the Broncos have really been the first resistance, shall I say, to the Mahomes-Reid Chiefs. And you're absolutely right. Very well, we could not even see the Chiefs in the playoffs. And personally, I am completely okay with that.
Yeah, I think every story needs a villain, and I'm comfortable with Philadelphia accepting that role. If we get to the Super Bowl and we're the villains, fine. It's a big if, but people are going to pretend to not want to watch if the Eagles or the Chiefs make the Super Bowl. They're going to watch, especially if there's a hero versus villain, because they want to see the villain lose. That has not worked out terribly well historically. Brady only lost twice. Mahomes has already eclipsed that mark. Just win, baby.
Yeah, and on to a team that did not win and a player that definitely did not win last week. Sam Darnold just had easily the worst game of the last 2 seasons. Granted, almost was able to make the comeback against the Rams and lead a game-winning drive, but Jason Sanders missed the long field goal. It was a 61-yard attempt, was just a little bit wide right. But Sam Darnold, wow, he played bad. And I think it might be starting to build the narrative that Sam Darnold is scared of the Rams defense. Because if you think back to the wild card game in LA last year where Sam Darnold and Minnesota went to LA, Sam Darnold was sacked 9 times in that game. And it's difficult to play well as a quarterback when you get sacked 9 times at all. And then in this game, the Rams were able to get after him early, and did he look uncomfortable in that pocket throwing 4 interceptions.
Yeah, certainly one of the narratives that emerged from this past week was Darnold does not play well against the Rams. He's now played them 3 times in the last 2 seasons. He's lost all 3 of those games. He's played very poorly in all 3 of those games. The more interesting narrative that emerged, in my opinion, is that the Seahawks only lost a game that Sam Darnold turned it over 4 times in. They had 4 turnovers. They lost by 2. That Seattle defense is deadly. And if someone else takes care of the Rams, why not Seattle? Why not Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks? There are 3 legit contenders in the NFC. In my eyes, there are 3 legit contenders in the NFC. 2 of them are sitting here hosting this podcast. We got the Rams and the Eagles. Seattle, even despite the loss, firmly entrenched themselves in Super Bowl contention to me because of how well their defense has been playing. Their offense, you have to hope they'll figure it out. You have to hope that Clint Kubiak will have a better game plan next time he goes up against Chris Shula. But their defense is on it. Mike McDonald has it, and he was an excellent, excellent coach this week, despite the loss.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Rams struggled offensively. I think that part of this score is a little bit misleading because the Rams did have a lot of success on offense, but elected to go for it on 4th instead of kicking 2 field goals, which would have extended their score by 6. Fortunately, they get the ball back on one of those failed 4th downs. The second time they do not. But that brings some concern to me about the Los Angeles Rams because Sean McVay, when you have points available, take them.
Yeah.
When you're playing a tough opponent, when you're playing an opponent that very well can beat you, when you have points available, I don't care if it's 4th and 2. I don't care if it's 4th and 3. Take the points. And I understand that right now our kicking game is not great. I mean, we have the thicker kicker who has yet to attempt a field goal through 2 games.
Oh, fuck.
And to me, that's a little bit concerning. But Sean, trust him, let him kick it and just take the 3 points. But also related to the Rams-Seahawks game, my pick for Coach of the Week belongs to Rams defensive coordinator, most likely future Atlanta Falcons head coach, or
Miami
godforsaken the New York Giants head coach.
That would be really interesting.
Chris Shula schemed up a really, really phenomenal game against an explosive Seattle
James
offense.
Cook. Sorry.
By the way,
for those of you who aren't watching the VOD, we have the Thursday night football game up because we're recording this so late in the week, and James Cook just fucking exploded for a huge touchdown run. It looked like there was nobody around him. I have to imagine it was a long run. Yeah.
Yeah, 40-yarder.
45 maybe?
That looks like 40. Yeah, 44, 43, 44.
Man.
Huge run by
He's
James
having
Cook.
a special season. If
He is having a
Jonathan
special
Taylor
season.
wasn't having the season he's having, we'd be talking about James Cook as the best running back.
I believe James Cook was asking a lot to get paid this offseason. He might get that payday.
He I believe got that payday.
I didn't.
Maybe they didn't extend him, but he's.
I thought they gave him a prove it 1 year prove it.
That might be what happened. He's making it really difficult not to pay him.
He is. But
sorry for sidetracking.
No, you're
Chris
good.
Shula.
No, you're good. Chris Shula schemed up an absolutely great game against that explosive Seattle offense. Held them to 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
And 4 field goals.
And 4 turnovers.
And a lot of times when a team gets 4 turnovers, it can say, "Oh, it was great plays by defensive backs." Oh, it was no, they were schemed turnovers that put Sam Darnold into very uncomfortable positions. Did a lot of disguise, a lot of sim pressure. And it frankly, that's what you should be doing against a quarterback that is antsy and a little bit too quick with the trigger. But Chris Shula schemed up and coached an absolutely phenomenal defensive game. So Chris Shula is my shout out for Coach of the Week.
This feels a little cheap because it's the first time this season either one of us have picked coordinators. We both picked defensive coordinators, and they're our defensive coordinators. Vic Fangio arguably should have won Coach of the Week last week.
We're not biased, I swear.
Yeah, we try to be as unbiased as we possibly can be. Vic Fangio or Jeff Hafley arguably should have won it last week for their defensive performances against the Packers offense and Eagles offense, respectively. We talked last week in the main podcast about how Detroit was one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. Vic Fangio said, No. I cracked this Goff kid years ago. I know what's about to happen. He pressured the hell out of him. Goff looked off all night. Try saying that 5 times fast. Vic Fangio has had 2 top 15 for sure quarterbacks in hell in the past 2 weeks. This week he's got Dak Prescott. I'm excited to see what he can do. Dak Prescott is only 181 yards away from breaking the Cowboys' franchise passing yardage record, which I think is very interesting, considering that Troy Aikman is a Hall of Famer. No shade to Troy Aikman, great player. I want to be very clear.
I mean, Dak's been in Dallas. I mean, Dak's been in the league for a while.
He's going on a decade. He's got 2 playoff wins. He's going on a decade. He's got 2 playoff wins.
If he had a little bit of hardware, he could be in contention for greatest Cowboys QB ever.
Yeah.
But probably not.
Any way you slice it, Vic Fangio schemed up a hell of a game. Related to that, our big man of the week, first repeat winner at Big Man of the Week, Jordan Davis. In the Week 3 episode that no one ever saw, Jordan Davis won Player of the Week, or in the Week 4 episode that very few people ever saw. Jordan Davis won our Week 3 Player of the Week for the performance he had against L.A., specifically blocking that final field goal, along with the pressures and the sacks that he had in this game. This week, half a sack at most, I think. Not very many pressures. 3 batted passes, though, and that's got to count for something. Jordan Davis, 6'6", 330-some-odd pounds, getting up to block Jared Goff's passes and knock him to the ground. That was a part of Vic Fangio's scheme. But Jordan Davis, big man of the week, first repeat winner.
You know, it's making me think if Jordan Davis should stop trying to rush the passer and just start putting his arms in the air and watching the QB's eyes, because he's pretty good at it.
He's a big
It's
dude.
like that 1 year that Calais Campbell led the league in passes defended.
Yeah.
For like 12 weeks. I mean, that was it's an underrated part of the game in my eyes. But when your defensive lineman can consistently get up there and affect the passing game without even getting to the QB, it's a real asset. But great game by Jordan Davis. And we both agree on both of the players of the weeks. Our NFC player of the week, right after I dropped him in fantasy, put him on the waivers, was Bryce Young. Played a great game, absolutely carved up that Atlanta defense. Was 31 for 45, had 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 123 passer rating. That 448 yards is a career high for Bryce Young, so congratulations to him. Absolutely great game.
We talked about last week when we were you picked the Falcons to win last week. I picked the Panthers to win last week. We talked about how the second time Bryce Young played the Falcons last year, in Week 18 of last year, he played the best game of his career. His stats from that one: 25 of 34 for 251 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. He had almost double the amount of passing yards, same amount of touchdowns, almost double the amount of passing yards on only 10 more attempts. I don't know what it is about the second game that Bryce Young plays against the Falcons, but it's been the best game of his career 2 seasons in a row now, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned.
I don't know what's up with it either, but I can guarantee you next year in his second game against the Falcons, I'm taking the over.
Our AFC Player of the Week, also unanimous. A name that I did not know.
I was
coming
unfamiliar
into this
with.
Week. Maybe that makes us casuals. Jaquan McMillian of the Denver Broncos had a game against Patrick Mahomes. 2 sacks, 5 tackles, and a red zone interception, a rare red zone mistake that he forced on Mahomes. Absolutely insane. While I was watching that game last week, wherever I looked, number 29 was somewhere in the vicinity. And that is immensely impressive. Helped the Broncos all but secure the division, or at least keep the Chiefs out of it, in a home win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Hats off. Myles Garrett also had an insane week, and I didn't know if you were going to pick him because of the just absurd raw sack number.
No, I mean, when you've got a player that is affecting the game from a defensive standpoint in every facet, I mean, from the box, from the slot, from the deep part of the field, I mean, Jaquan McMillan was absolutely swarming and was absolutely everywhere against the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. And that kind of performance, you really can't put a price tag on. I mean, absolutely great game. Really can't say enough about it.
And then from 5 of the best performances of the week to 1 of the worst, Shedeur Sanders, Colonel Sanders, as I've taken to calling him, had his first NFL action last week, his first reps with the ones last week after the Dylan Gabriel injury. He is in line to make his first career start this week, and he wins our Chart of the Week. And a reminder that winners of Chart of the Week don't have to be pretty. Sometimes they can look like this.
Yeah, it's not a real good looker.
No.
I mean, 4 for 16. Obviously not a great performance there. But I mean, this chart is just, it's not what you want to see.
No, I mean, it's very similar to the Justin Fields chart that got a dishonorable mention last week. All of the deep passes are horrifically incomplete. He had a minus 25 completion percentage over expected. That
you rarely see
I think it's
a double-digit minus over expected on completion percentage. You rarely see it.
You rarely see double digits in completion percentage over expected at all, positive or negative. Getting into the 20s is it'll earn you Chart of the Week.
And I believe his passer rating was 18.
It was bad. I know that.
And I didn't. And you know, something I love about doing this show is that you see a lot of bad stats that you didn't know were possible.
Oh.
And was it 18?
It was 13.5. So
I did not know that passer rating went as low as 13.5. But thank you, Shedeur Sanders, for letting me know that could happen.
For the uninitiated in passer rating and its flaws as a stat, because it is a flawed stat. With the way the NFL does passer ratings, if you stood in the pocket and threw the ball into the stands on every play, made sure there was no chance anyone could catch it, the passer rating you would get is 39.5, I believe. It's somewhere in the 39 range. So to go below that, you have to throw interceptions and also not complete a lot of your passes. He went 4 of 16 for 47 yards and a pick. That is how you get a 13.5 passer rating.
And it makes me wonder, do we think he can hit 0 next week?
He's playing the Raiders, so probably not. The Ravens' defense has some semblance of life in it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think
Every
the
once
same
in a
could
while.
be said of the Raiders.
No, especially they're probably going to be out without Max Crosby this week too, and that definitely doesn't help. But anyway, that does it for our headlines edition of Week 12 in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of the links to Instagram, TikTok are going to be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week.